whatever it is, I don't believe a word of it. I think that Harry has written extensively, and they have commented extensively on her pregnancies with Archie, as well as the birth of Lily. And remember, Meghan was so hungry as she was going to be pushing out Lily that they had to stop for, was it tacos at Taco Bell or some such, again, BS. And the fact of the matter is, if she had preeclampsia, there is no way she could have been released from the hospital very quickly.
Now, Lady Colin Campbell, can we please talk about Prince Harry's increasingly deranged operations with the media, which seem to be sparked by his wife, Meghan? Because not only did we see this very bizarre People magazine cover this week, where he said, "My worst fears have been confirmed," and then went on to brief that King Charles and Prince William are refusing to give him any type of health updates, refusing to answer his calls, which is something that we have obviously revealed for some time, but confirmation from the Sussexes that that is the case. Not only did he do that, there was also this bizarre, what I describe as a hostage video quote about just how proud he is of Meghan, just how happy he is for her. He said, "I am so happy for my wife and fully support absolutely everything she's done and continues to do. I'm incredibly proud." Now, do we buy that? Because the reality is everything that Meghan is doing in her pursuit to become a lifestyle billionaire goes completely against the agreement that she made with Prince Harry not to exploit their children for commercial gain.
Dan, we can summarize it in 4 letters. PRBS. That's what it all is. It's PRBS.
Yes. Do we even think he said that, or did Meghan say that to his PR and then put the call into People?
Well, it doesn't really matter who said it. I mean, Harry might well have said it because, she might have been blowing in the wind last night.
What do you make of the fact that he spoke to People magazine after this court case? He seems to be increasingly desperate to try and bring the media on side.
Yes, but I think another reason for it is commercial and practical, because they have, well, she has promised Ted Sarandon that they are the most newsworthy royal couple on earth, and that this will be a carrot with which he can convince the mules who are against renewing their contract on the board at Netflix. So there is an extremely practical reason for all of these stories. Plus, of course, both Meghan and Harry are press junkies. I mean, Meghan, we know, has always been addicted to attention, but Harry has a very conflicted approach to publicity. On the one hand, when he doesn't have it, he doesn't want it, but when he has it, he loves it. And I suspect that Harry has discovered a new drug to join all of the other drugs, which includes Meghan, and it's publicity.
Yes, he's become a publicity whore. Actually, yes. Everything he always used to disdain, he has now become.
Yes. And it's so vulgar. It's beyond nouveau riche arriviste. It is the absolute archetype of vulgarity. And there's no dignity whatsoever, and it's really desperate. But they understand that any wares they have to sell will hopefully have a higher value if those wares are presented via the newspapers. But I know as a fact, I used to say to my old publisher, he's dead now, Gary Pulsifer, who was a great believer in PR. And I used to say, Gary, just because a book gets a whole load of press attention doesn't mean it's going to shift sales. And he believed to the contrary, but I know I was right, because there are many books that get tremendous publicity that do not sell very well. And there are other books, for instance, 50 Shades of Grey, that ended up being a worldwide bestseller that actually was organic, and the publicity came from the grassroots level. And I think, though, that is their commercial policy, that they are going to hog the front pages of the newspapers, or at least page 27, and that this will assist in rejigging the contract and extending it with Netflix. But ultimately, it's the content that happens, just as how Spotify dumped them, and now Lemonada is if they have any sense, will dump them. Well done, her, sorry, because it's such a dire podcast. But maybe Lemonada has smaller profit margins, and maybe Lemonada will be happy for the $30,000 profit in its coffers, while something like Netflix wouldn't condescend unless it was going to be 3 million or 30 million. So, I mean, you're dealing with, in a commercial sense, you're dealing with apples and oranges. But all of this proves that, in fact, Meghan and Harry are on their way to earning less and less and less and less. Because the fact of the matter is, nobody wants to be a part of a toxic brand. People buy into something because they like or admire or regard as sybaritic or vicarious what is being presented to them. Nobody is buying into Meghan Markle's lifestyle. I mean, everybody knows it's BS. So it's PR BS.
PR BS, I love it. Just thinking about books that get a heck of a lot of publicity, Lady C, and sell fewer copies than we can count on our digits. Do you remember that really odd looking bloke, really odd guy who released a book called Endgame, I think it was, and it didn't scrape into any of the charts? I think that is a very, very good example of the phenomenon that you were talking about. And surprise, surprise, he won't be writing another book on the royals, Lady C. He's turning to fiction now, although actually I would argue that everything Omid Scobie has written until this point has been and is proven now to be fiction.
I couldn't agree with you more. But why do you call him Omid Scobie? Why don't you give him his correct name? It's Omid Davies.
I leave that to you. And I love it. And I love it. Now, Lady C, I was away for this crazy 4-car motorcade to the theatre in New York for Ms. Markle at a time when we know all the other big celebrities, all the other A-listers in New York take the subway. But I know you have the inside story to why she really did this. Please spill.
Oh, Dan, why don't you refresh my memory? Because I don't remember what I said. Sorry.
Well, basically, your argument is that she is trying to prove to Netflix that actually it doesn't matter how terrible the coverage is. This type of attention seeking is why they should re-sign her. That was what I read in your post anyway on X.
Oh. Well, that, they say a week is a long time in politics. Well, I'll tell you, 2 hours is a long time in my life.
I forgive you.
I'm so bombarded. Yeah, it's well, it's a part. She has figured out. I think I said it a bit earlier that she and Ted Sarandos have come to the conclusion that the only thing that will actually overcome the opposition to people on the board of Netflix of renewing their but and at a very unfavorable rate incidentally, the contract will be if she can prove that she is and she and Harry
Yes,
are the most
it,
newsworthy royal couple.
exactly, because what you wrote is people are missing the point of Meghan Markle showing up for a performance of Gypsy on Broadway in New York in a cavalcade of 4 vehicles. The mockery of her self-importance has the media playing right into her hands. She doesn't mind that she's accused of being as delusionally self-important as she is. As long as people are noticing her, she's prevailing. And then you pose the question, Lady C, how far will she go? I dare say she's a bit past it to do the full Kim Kardashian, especially as how the previous unburied versions, which might well be as false as her, wasn't stellar in the first place. Yes, I saw it. I saw it too, Lady C, and can't forget it. But there are Harry's 2 children to milk, along with everything else she can come up with, though I doubt she's going to be treating us anytime soon to the true confessions of her bumpy ride along the route to motherhood. And actually, Lady C, on that note, did you notice that this week we're getting a whole load of new, unbelievable, extraordinary stories about Meghan's health and Meghan's pregnancy, which I thought she never wanted to speak about, Lady C, because this was all about privacy. And the reason she didn't use the royal doctors is that because she was so determined to keep it private. But yet now she's pumping out new information about new apparent health conditions that we'd never heard of before on this podcast. I was wondering what you were doing. Oh, you are naughty. You are naughty. Look at this, Lady C. This was the first week where she spoke about the preeclampsia, apparently with Archie, that we'd never heard about before, and it was picked up by Australian television. But first, we ingest a credit card's worth of microplastics every week. Tiny particles, how disturbing is this? In our food, our water, our air. They don't just pass through, they build up in our organs, disrupt hormones, and are linked to fertility issues, neurological disorders, and heart disease. In early 2024, human brain samples contained 0.5% plastic by weight, with higher levels tied to Alzheimer's and neurodegenerative diseases. Microplastics have also been found in semen and placentas, correlating with lower sperm quality, fetal exposure, and declining fertility. BPA and phthalates mimic or disrupt hormones like estrogen and testosterone, leading to reduced sperm counts, irregular cycles, and development issues in children. With microplastics in bottled water, food, and even household dust, avoiding exposure is impossible, but you can support your body's ability to fight back. Moringa activates the NRFT pathway, your body's detox switch, helping flush out microplastic-associated toxins like BPA, BPS, and phthalates. This pathway boosts detox enzymes, making harmful chemicals water-soluble for easy excretion. Now, not all moringa is created equal, though. Many supplements use lower quality sources, root, bark, contaminated powders, that type of thing, lacking the full spectrum of benefits. Plus, moringa naturally tastes bitter and, to be honest, pretty gross. So that's what led me to Morning Bean by Verso, a rich, chocolatey coffee alternative packed with moringa, cocoa, polyphenols, and electrolytes to help detox, fuel energy, performance, focus, and longevity. Now, this is my Morning Bean here. I've saved some for the afternoon today because I just wanted to try it and show you how good it tastes. Genuinely like a McDonald's hot chocolate. I'm not even joking. I don't know how they mask the bitter notes of moringa, but actually I don't care because it's just so good. Plus, Verso only uses pure moringa leaf, the most nutrient-dense part of the plant, and conducts third-party testing on every batch to ensure potency, purity, and safety. You can't avoid microplastics, but you can support your body's detox process. Start your day with Morning Bean for research-backed detox, energy, and health. Click the link below or visit buy.ver.so using the code Outspoken for 15% off. That's buy.ver.so using the code Outspoken for 15% off. But now, back to the show.
We both had preeclampsia.
Oh God, can you believe we
preeclampsia.
both had that? It's so rare.
It's so rare.
And so scary.
And so scary. And you go, and you're still trying to juggle all of these things, and the world doesn't know what's happening.
Do you buy it, Lady C?
Well, Dan, it's interesting because that Whitney, whatever her name is, Wolf Heard, she said she had postpartum preeclampsia. But Meghan, actually, it's not quite clear whether Meghan had postpartum preeclampsia or just preeclampsia, which would have been prepartum. But whatever it is, I don't believe a word of it. I think that Harry has written extensively, and they have commented extensively on her pregnancies with Archie, as well as the birth of Lily. And remember, Meghan was so hungry as she was going to be pushing out Lily that they had to stop for, was it tacos at Taco Bell or some such, again, BS. And the fact of the matter is, if she had preeclampsia, there is no way she could have been released from the hospital very quickly. So the whole thing, it goes, I'm sorry, I don't believe a word of any of it.
And she didn't sound sincere. She didn't even sound sincere when she was talking about it. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense given every details of those pregnancies were used, or at least their version of those pregnancies were used for publicity in the New York Times, in the Netflix reality series, and then specifically in Spare. Plus, Lady C, surely these doctors who would be very concerned about such a high-profile patient, especially given she wasn't using the royal physicians, as is tradition, surely if there was any serious condition like that, a condition that can be deadly, she's not going to be rushed out within hours back to Kensington Palace. Just doesn't make sense.
Well, she wasn't rushed out to Kensington Palace, of course. She was supposedly rushed out to Frogmore Cottage, wasn't she? Because they had already surrendered Kensington Palace, if I remember correctly, Dan.
Yes.
So she can't even get where she was rushed to straight, which doesn't surprise me, because Meghan is as straight as a corkscrew, and I wouldn't believe anything she said to me. And none of it is plausible. None of it makes sense. And there is no way that, first of all, let's remember, Meghan was a geriatric mother. And geriatric mothers are treated with kid gloves. And everything Meghan has said about both those pregnancies and the birth of those children is incredible in the true meaning of the word. Nothing that she says is, in my opinion, believable. Nothing, when you check it with doctors and nurses, nothing is usual or typical or indeed even recognizable. There is no way that Meghan, even if she had not had preeclampsia, there is no way that, having been given 2 epidurals and having been bouncing on a ball while Harry was getting high off the laughing gas, that was on a canister, notwithstanding the fact that in the Portland hospital the canisters are actually attached to the wall, but let's not bother with any of those trivial details which make anything they said totally unbelievable, unless you're an idiot. The fact of the matter is that there is no way that a geriatric mother would be released from hospital 2 hours after giving birth, having had 2 epidurals. And also, let's remember that Meghan was hale and hearty at 8 months pregnant, having not gained a pound, having not shown, though, that's Burtonhead. Is that the photograph where Archie does the deep dive between her legs, her knees? Oh, Tom Daly, here we come. Sorry, where was I? I've lost my point.
Well,
now.
you
I
were
mean,
saying that given the epidural and given all of those health concerns, it just doesn't make any sense.
No reputable doctor. Listen, my first cousin's a top gynecologist and obstetrician. I've run this by him. This is rubbish. None of this makes sense. It is medically unsound. And, if Meghan had preeclampsia, she would have been in the hospital, and there's no way she would have been released quickly. According to them, after both births, she was released quickly. If she had any signs of, and preeclampsia is high blood pressure. So it usually starts during the pregnancy. And Meghan, at 8 months pregnant with Archie, 8 months pregnant with Archie, let me correct myself, because hers was a unique event. She's down on her haunches, legs tightly shut, not even an ounce of gaining weight. Of course, once she realizes that everybody on the internet is noticing these anomalies, she then realizes, well, I better at least do something to show that I gave birth to those children. So she doesn't gain the weight during the pregnancy. She gains what looks like weight from steroids after the pregnancy or the pregnancy. The whole thing, and why, if Meghan and Harry care about those children's welfare, why have they simply not made an announcement to the fact that all of the speculation about the children's arrivals is unfounded, and this is the proof from the doctors. Now, one of the doctors whose name was mentioned is the now ex-wife, but was then the wife of someone I've known for over 50 years. And he said, and I got it checked out via his secretary, and I did it in such a way that I wasn't going to prevail upon any relationship we had. But he is on record as having stated that he and his wife, who is supposed to have been the obstetrician, were abroad at the time of the birth of the child. Well, I'm sorry, that all Harry and Meghan need to do is prove to us that she popped those babies out. And that's all they need to do. And if they don't, it is unfair on the children. It's also unfair on the royal family, because it puts the royal family in a very invidious position, because the royal family, there are certain things they can and can't do by law, and Meghan and Harry know this. And so really, what they are doing is, if she gave birth to those children, she is deliberately creating mischief to affect the prestige of the monarchy and cause problems for the crown. The whole thing stinks to high heaven. I have to tell you, I think she has shown herself to be one of the nastiest pieces of work that it has ever been the public's displeasure to witness. She is so odious, it's beyond belief.
Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.